Well, hello. Welcome to our channel, my friend Bob. If you have been watching us for the last couple of years, you would realize that we have a backyard pond where back in the day when we started, we only used to have koi in it. Now we have both koi and some goldfish. We do get it cleaned every year, and you can watch those cleaning videos on our channel. What I want to try to do, I want to bring the whole story together a bit differently. It's not just about cleaning, even though the cleaning is about to happen. One thing which has changed that I personally think I can almost see it. People might say that we are going through weather shifts. I do believe that these weather shifts are translating into climate change. We are in June and we are getting our pond clean. Now, keeping in mind, you don't try to get a pond clean where you have live fish during like really cold time. Change of temperature and the shock could kill the fish. I've gone through that myself a few years ago. For the last few years, we've been getting the pond cleaned, typically in May. This year it'll be June. And that just has to do what the average temperature is. You want a 50-degree for it on an average, so everything works out. Let's go back to our video from last few years. And we had this conversation with Mike Gannon, the owner of that pond place. That's where I've been getting my fish and plants. And then the company he also owns, the aquatic place. Let's talk to him and listen from him. What does this cleaning mean?
Dealing with water quality and clarity issues, there's a couple of approaches with ponds. You can do chemicals, but if you choose a chemical path, that's the road you got to follow. And your pond becomes something of a chemical pool rather than truly a pond, because you're using algicides and herbicides and all these chemicals to try to control the environment. Our approach is to work with nature, not against nature. So we use bacteria, which is, think of it as a probiotic for your pond. People are familiar with probiotics. These are bacteria and enzymes that help to create low nutrient water, which is very important in having water clarity and water quality to keep healthy livestock, fish, plants, whatever else is in there as well. There's frogs, there's birds, there's all sorts of things to consider. But you can't do both. You can't do chemicals one day and then try to do the natural way the next day and try to alternate that, which people struggle with. I don't think they just realize. That's where I come in and help to try to educate people and say, here's what you can use. It's all natural. You can put it in your pond. Your animals can drink from it. Birds can drink from it. It's a naturally occurring enzyme that you just supplement. And that's how we approach it. And it's very successful.
So you heard Mike Gannon talking about the cleaning process, no chemicals being used. And it's really just a matter of water and cleaning with some force, and that's about it. Now, going forward, just having a pond is not enough. Surely it looks beautiful. It brings a lot of creatures to your uh, backyard, errands being one, which are dangerous for your fish, but generally speaking, other birds, beautiful again. You can even get frogs, which I typically don't because I don't have any other water source around me. So naturally, I don't get any frogs. I do have fish, I do have plants, and you'll see those plants. Again, let's go to Mike Gannon and figure out how this whole process is actually an overall environmentally friendly way to have a sustainable living. Michael.
Even if it's just a water feature, we're creating habitat. Yes, it looks nice. It's a beautiful feature for someone's backyard. They sit around, they enjoy it for the aesthetic beauty of it and the fun of fish keeping and water gardening. But what's happening is that their pond becomes a lifeline for local wildlife. It becomes a resource for plants, fish, insects, birds, you name it. So much happens at that pond that people probably aren't even aware of, even down to the microbial level. There's so many things going on. We're literally creating habitat and making natural resources more available to the local wildlife. I feel like I see over time, you kind of see patterns. There's not as many frogs as there used to be. I mean, there's not as many turtles as there used to be back 30 years ago. It's not to say they're not here, but there just doesn't seem to be as many. So whatever type of trend that is, I can't really point and identify it. However, I will say that almost every pond that we build ends up being a habitat for frogs, for turtles, and for other critters that will benefit from it.
Pond gets cleaned every year. They recommend more than that, but it becomes a bit pricey. So I do think, and I have had conversations with Mike Gannon about it also, and his thought is having live animal once a year should be enough. Because for me, this pond is not just for a show or water to look clean. So if it's not super clean, I don't mind that. It will be clean once it's cleaned for the next few months. It's really fall. What happens is that the leaves start falling and they just start sinking in. That changes the color of the water and many other things. The pond behind me is a good 10 by 14 feet. It's not small. It's quite big. And it has a pump that runs constantly 24/7 to aerate and keep these fish alive. Now, in the background, you might be able to hear some birds chirping. That was one best thing which happened when I got this pond done. I do get a lot of animals and birds which come here to drink water. Other than that, many other beneficial insects like dragonflies, which actually, technically speaking, control your mosquitoes. Many people worry about that having a pond might increase mosquitoes in the backyard. Mosquitoes typically happen when the water is not running. This water is running, it's constantly moving around, so nothing happens. Again, as I said, no chemicals, and Michael has already mentioned, we don't use any chemicals. Let's go and see the process of cleaning it. So, a good 1 day of cleaning that you would have already seen. Remember one thing, when it comes to your pond cleanup and when you live in colder regions, make sure that you get your pond clean when it's warmer. Warmer means that the temperature of your water is around 50 degrees. If you don't do that, it can shock and kill your fish. So remember that little thing. That said, I think you saw what a pond is about. You saw some of the plants we growing here. You saw the cleaning process. We heard from Michael Gannon also. One other thing, when you're a backyard gardener, the water from the pond can come handy also. I do tend to use it to water my gardens. Just use bit of it and then let the rain fill it up again. What happens is the poop of the fish and everything that helps. That becomes a natural fertilizer. So all that said, I hope that you saw something different. We have done, as I said, we have done this video before also. We were trying to show it a bit differently. My beautiful waterfall is in the background. When you're sitting around here, the sound of it, it takes all the sounds away, the cars and anything on the road away. And it just becomes such a place that you just sit and appreciate, especially during summer evenings with the birds and the water. It's perfect. Again, as I said, I hope you saw something new. Keep on watching. We don't only talk about gardening, but we talk about everything which is done with gardening. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.